Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here with the Vampire Counts, going to be facing up against the Warriors of Chaos, so definitely in for a very wild fight. Let's get straight to the army compositions. My forces are going to be led by Mannfred von Karstein himself, one of the best legendary lords in the game even still. He's got access to all of the lore of death and the lore of vampires, making him one of the best spellcasters in the game. He's also got the Sword of Unholy Power. When combined with, the innate ability he has, Master of the Black Arts, can give him a ton of Winds of Magic Reserve, and he can cast far more spells than your average spellcaster. So we've got him up on a hell seat in the air to just run around and cast spells. Front line is a mix of zombies with skeleton warriors for a nice fodder-centric and wide front line. We've also got 2 units of Grave Guard with great weapons supporting in the rear, as well as 2 units of skeleton spearmen, one here and one on the opposite flank. In addition, we've got 1 unit of Black Knights with lances. These are actually the Erik the Red's Regiment of Renown. Of course, they have regeneration, so they're extra tanky compared to the regular Black Knights with lances. And over here on the far side, we do have a unit of Blood Knights. So these guys have the anti-large armor piercing, elite tier charge bonus, and very good heavy shock cavalry. For support, we've got the Claw of Nagash here for that draining as well as healing, and the slow effect is going to be nice as well. We've also got 2 corpse carts with Unholy Lodestone, one here and one on the far side, to give that Vigor Mortis as well as that healing, regeneration buff. So very good stuff. For my opponent's army, he's got a pretty decent build for facing up against the vampires. He does have Kolek as well as another Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. He's got an Exalted Hero on foot to help support morale, I'd imagine, as well as a Chaos Sorcerer Lore of Death. Let's look at the spells he's carrying. Just Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, so definitely looking for that direct magic damage, which can be very good against the vampires. He's also got a unit of Chaos Chariots here, 2 units of Forsaken, Chaos Marauders, 1 Chosen with Halberds, about to take a Fate of Buna, and a couple more Chaos Marauders. So definitely banking on these Chosen with Halberds to be able to hold the line and sweep up some of the fodder with these Forsaken. He also has 2 units of Marauders Horsemen over on the far side, 1 with throwing axes, 1 without, to help deal with large targets. So let's go ahead and kick things underway. So my opponent's going to be bringing his chariot up and around this way. My Blood Knights are currently hidden, so he didn't see them here. Meanwhile, Mannfred cast that Fate of Unit, and immediately I charged him down into these Marauders to try and get some extra Winds of Magic regeneration. I popped that Master of the Black Arts, as well as the Sword of Unholy Power, and of course the Lore of Death attribute also increases power reserves and recharge rate. My Erik the Red's over here taking a little bit of missile fire, but they do have regeneration. A little bit off on my micro here. Honestly, with how close these guys are, I can immediately just proc the charge animation and get into them very easily, so I'm going to do that as soon as I notice that happening. Over on this far side, though, we are going to be getting the Blood Knights into the chariots. It looks like my Blood Knights have been spotted there, so very shortly we're going to be getting those guys into the chariots there. So meanwhile, in the mainline fight, you can see those Chosen took quite a bit of damage from that Fate of Buna, and you can see the Blood Knights kind of charging up the hill here. Going to be catching out this unit of chariots without my opponent noticing, so very good grab for me. We're going to be able to see them off relatively easily. In the mainline engagement here, the fodder front line is going to be soaking the charge of the Forsaken very well, and we're going to use that corpse cart to just keep on station and, buff these troops here in this front line, and then bring up the Grave Guards to kind of deal the armor-piercing damage. So you can see the Grave Guards kind of saturating in here. Mannfred's just chilling out up top. He is taking Spirit Leeches, but, he'll be able to regenerate, so it's no big deal. The Claw of Nagash is just sitting in this center pocket, kind of supporting. We've also got these Grave Guard with great weapons. They'll definitely clean up these Chaos Marauders relatively easily. So Grave Guard with great weapons actually have really nice weapon strength. The issue is their combat stats. Of course, they also have bonus infantry of 8. But, just kind of subpar combat stats. Now the Shaggoth squad coming in, doing exactly what they should, but it looks like a bit of a misplay there, actually casting Fate of Buna on the Claw of Nagash. I'd imagine that was meant to be cast on these Grave Guard here, or perhaps he was meaning to cast Spirit Leech, but rough stuff. That is going to waste quite a bit of Winds of Magic. Erik the Red's got into those Marauders a little bit here, and now going to be just absolutely munching this unit of Marauder Infantry that's trying to charge in for support here. And getting a great charge, just doing a ton of shock damage. You can see another Fate of Buna going off on these Chosen with Halberds here, who have yet to get involved in the fight. Meanwhile, the Corpse Cart's actually supporting very, very well. You can see we're able to break those 2 units of Forsaken on the far side with the Corpse Cart buffing these Grave Guards with great weapons, and they've taken very little damage as a result. The Blood Knights also help support in that fight as well. So now we're going to be able to start surrounding the Shaggoths and starting to drag them down. They've taken relatively little damage so far, but the Blood Knights are going to come in here and do some nice damage. Fortunately, they are getting some really good attacks here on this Clov and Gash, and it's taking a ton of damage. I'm going to very quickly need to pull it up and away, or I'm going to lose it here. Chosen with great weapons still just sitting here. Definitely need to be pulled in somewhere, but it does look like they're going to be pathed over onto these Varix Reavers over here, which is a decent target for them. But, of course, they do have regeneration. I am somewhat ahead on the balance of power, but as you can see, there's still quite a bit of battle left to go. And this is one thing about fighting the vampires. You'll often find yourself behind on the balance of power, but if you can take out their elite units, especially with how a lot of people go very fodder-centric these days, if he was able to take out, like, let's say, Mannfred, the Blood Knights, and the Mortis Engine, you know, he's going to be able to win this, and the Mortis Engine, unfortunately, is kind of soaked into this fight where it shouldn't be. Granted, it is draining all the Chaos troops here and healing all of my troops, but if Kolek and this other Shaggoth get 1 or 2 more attacks on it, it's going down, so rough stuff. Meanwhile, we're able to clean up most of the infantry in this pocket here, only these Chosen holding out, and they are doing quite a bit of damage to the Varix Reavers, so definitely dragging them down, getting some good value there, and working through one of the elite units I have to deal damage. But this Corpse Cart's also on station, so it's going to be helping them get extra regeneration. Unfortunately, the Mortis Engine did go down there to Kolek. You can see him kind of standing over the smoke and corpse of it. But Blood Knights and this huge horde of skeletons and, you know, Graveguard are going to be inundating these 2 Shaggoths. You can see they're starting to get worn down, and it is very much going to be a battle of attrition with these guys. They'll be able to stomp through just tons of my infantry. But as long as we keep this 1 Corpse Cart on station, you know, we should be okay. Exalted Hero's getting routed off without having done too much. He's racked up a grand total of 5 kills. The Chaos Sorcerer, Lore of Death, also routing off here. He's been able to get some good work done, kind of spirit leeching Mannfred. And this Mannfred's currently just chilling over here, again, mostly just using him as a spellcaster, not really using him in melee too much, but I am going to need to find certain engagements where I can come down into melee to get some extra Winds of Magic regeneration. So we're going to get Mannfred coming down to duel this Exalted Hero in just a moment. The Shaggoth war of attrition here continues with this huge blob of skeletons and zombies, very cinematically kind of trying to drag these big old Shaggoths down. Mannfred's in on the ground now against this Exalted Hero who's chopping his way through some zombies here. And Mannfred doesn't really want to take this fight head on for too long. The Exalted Hero, you know, can definitely dish some damage back to him, but I just am trying to regenerate as much Winds of Magic as possible with that sort of unholy power. Very nice Lord of the Storm there, catching quite a big blob of my troops. But, you know, we're just keeping them together. The Corpse Cart, unfortunately, is probably a little bit far away right now. Let's have a look at the area of effect abilities. And, yeah, it looks like they're not actually catching those guys, so I do need to bring that Corpse Cart just a little bit closer. Should have it parked maybe, like, right here. That would be a little bit better, but you can see the Black Knights and the Blood Knights here just kind of cycle charging around now at this point. They're trying to just break off, you know, what remains of the Chaos Infantry. Chosen with Halberds to drop their attack orders. They're kind of just standing around right now. But this Shaggoth in here, man, just inundated by all these knights and skeletons. Very, very cinematic stuff. They are starting to get a little bit low, you know. Kolek's about 30% of his HP, maybe 40% on this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. The Chosen with Halberds, surprisingly, only 870 hit points, but still holding their leadership together. This fight is now turning badly against Mannfred, especially with the support of the throwing axes, so I'm going to need to get him out of this fight as soon as possible. If I were to lose Mannfred, that would pretty much give this battle back to my opponent, so we're going to get him back up in the air and pull him over away to this side. I'm going to get him fighting up against this Death Sorcerer, who is somewhere around here. Oh, here he is, currently being circle beaten by the Varix Reavers and the Blood Knights. But, yeah, we're going to bring Mannfred down here and cycle the Heavy Shock Cavalry back over to help deal with Kolek, obviously, since the Blood Knights do have that anti-large bonus. So you can see Mannfred diving down in here, and this Chaos Sorcerer definitely not too happy about life, getting trampled by all these nasty undead horses. But he's going to be flaying off, but this whole time Mannfred should be able to get swipes in and use that sort of unholy power to regenerate. You can see it's actually procced there, so getting that regeneration of the Winds of Magic. Very good stuff. You can see a lot of my troops are actually crumbling in this center pocket, unfortunately. But that Corpse Cart, yeah, it looks like actually a little far away now, but it is going to be coming back over. And we did hit these Blood Knights with an Invocation of the Heck. Mostly just been using Fate of Yuna in the beginning against those Chosen, and then Invocation just to try and heal my troops and keep them as healthy as possible. So yeah, just cycling in and out again with these heavy shock cavalry. Mannfred has got quite a bit of Winds of Magic now, and should be able to get 1 or 2 more casts of Invocation before this battle is done. And the War of Attrition drags on in the Western Front here, as Kolek and his Shaggoth buddy are no doubt getting tired from bringing the hammer down and just racking up tons of kills, 224 kills and 155, so yeah, they've been chopping through just hordes of skeletons and zombies, but will it be enough? You know, a lot of my forces are crumbling now, so it's going to be tough to say. Mannfred himself is also, you know, not in the greatest of shape. He's still got about 1,300 hit points, and yeah, he should be okay, but if I were to lose Mannfred, it would potentially be very bad. You can see the Sorcerer has rallied, and he's running through the swamps there over on the far side to come back and try and get a few more Spirit Leeches in. Honestly, Mannfred's going to be a little bit much to deal with right now. He's chasing off the Exalted Hero. Again, just trying to get that, you know, Winds of Magic regeneration, and Kolek now is actually routed off under 1,000 HP down to about 600 hit points, actually 600 exactly, and yeah, he's going to be routed off here, which is going to be a major blow to the leadership of the Chaos units. You can see the Marauders shatter there. The Chosen finally decide to get off the field with the Marauders there, and yeah, this last Shoggoth is all that remains. So the Death Sorcerer also just rallied here, and his leadership and magic is honestly what's holding the Chaos forces together at this point. So Mannfred's going to come down and teach him, you know, who the best sorcerer in the old world is. And yeah, definitely Mannfred still claims that title, and still one of the strongest legendary lords in the game. Even with Malekith and Krokar and all these crazy, insane legendary lords from the Game 2 factions, Mannfred is still one of the best. So well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. Definitely a long, atrocious fight, but it can be when you're trying to drag down large monsters as the vampire counts, so well played to my opponent. In terms of army breakdown here, 3 experienced chevrons and 77 kills on these Blood Knights, 135 kills on the Varix Reavers. Both got a ton of work done and were real MVPs in this matchup. You can see across the board, not a lot else got a ton of kills. Mannfred got 37, which is pretty decent. Graveguard with great weapons got, you know, 37 and 31, which is, again, pretty decent. But, man, those heavy shock cab were really the MVPs here. For my opponent's army, Chosen with Halberds got some decent work done. The Shaggoths, man, Kolek 246 kills and 195 with 3 XP chevrons on the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth here. 142 kills on these Forsaken, but then they eventually just got dragged down by the Graveguard and just numbers of fodder units here. And 95 kills on the Chosen. Again, a lot of these are pretty inflated because I got a pretty, I brought a pretty fodder-centric army, but, you know, the Chaos Chariots getting taken out at the beginning was really rough, and then getting those Marauder Horsemen, this one he definitely got some good value out of, but I don't think he got good value out of this one, so it's a pretty decent army overall. Personally, you know, it's tough to say what I would change. I'd probably cut the Exalted Hero for sure, and maybe get 1 more unit of Chosen with Halberds, kind of play with the costs of some things, see if I can't get 1 more unit of Chosen with Halberds, because I think they're very good in this matchup. These guys definitely showed their worth, and even with that Spirit Leech, they took forever to get off the field, so that was really, really well played there, that pick. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I keep it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.